The 42nd floor of the gleaming glass tower was completely dark. Evelyn Hart, the young billionaire known for her cold demeanor, sat alone in front of a small birthday cake with a single candle. No friends, no family. No one remembered the day she was born. As she prepared to blow out the candle, the doorbell rang. She frowned. Who would come at this hour? When she opened the door, she saw a poor-looking man in a rain-soaked work jacket and a 6-year-old girl holding a bouquet of wildflowers. Liam Carter spoke softly. "Sorry to disturb you, but my daughter noticed your door wasn't locked. She wanted to give you these flowers because you look sad today." Evelyn stood frozen. Evelyn stood stunned by the image of father and daughter standing in the cold hallway, while her penthouse was so vast and empty that even the wind echoed through it. A very small moment, but enough to make her chest tighten. Liam bowed his head slightly, his hand gently pushing little Lily forward. His voice was full of embarrassment. "She insisted on giving this to you." He clearly had no intention of invading her privacy. Just a single father trying to teach his daughter to do something kind. Lily held up the bouquet of wildflowers, the petals still wet with rain, messy but genuine. The complete opposite of the elegant bouquets Evelyn received at galas. Evelyn looked at Lily for a long time, her eyes wavering. The child had no idea today was her birthday, yet she was the first person to bring flowers. It caused a small but painful scratch on a heart that seemed to have no feelings left. Evelyn didn't know how to react. From childhood, she had grown up in an environment with only alarm clocks, English lessons, etiquette classes, and business schedules. No one had ever taught her how to handle unexpected kindness. "Thank you," Evelyn said very softly, her voice hoarse, as if she hadn't used that word in a long time. She invited the father and daughter in, though even she didn't understand why she was opening her door to strangers. The luxurious penthouse made Liam somewhat uncomfortable. He placed his wet shoes by the door, reminded Lily not to run around wildly. Meanwhile, Evelyn noticed Liam's hands were cracked from labor, his jacket stained with mud and rain. Completely different from her world. But he showed no trace of self-consciousness. He only cared about his daughter. That made Evelyn lower her eyes slightly. How long had it been since she'd seen a man speak with such a gentle, deep voice? Lily ran to the table and exclaimed, "Birthday cake!" Evelyn flinched. She quickly covered the candle as if afraid someone would see her loneliness. Liam spoke gently. "Is it your birthday today?" Evelyn was silent for a few seconds, then nodded. Accidental humiliation came when Lily asked very innocently, "Don't you have anyone to eat cake with?" The innocent question made Evelyn freeze, while Liam quickly covered his daughter's mouth and apologized. But that very innocence softened Evelyn, because for years she had avoided this question from herself. Evelyn invited them to share the cake. Lily was so happy she clasped her hands in prayer before helping blow out the candle. Liam smiled, a smile so kind that Evelyn caught herself looking at him longer than usual. They chatted briefly. Evelyn discovered that Liam worked the night shift at a cleaning company, his salary barely enough to support his child. And Lily loved drawing flowers and cakes. These simple things made her penthouse feel warmer. The authentic human marker appeared when Lily accidentally spilled a glass of water, and Liam quickly wiped it clean, his mouth smiling. "It's okay, just water." That moment, the way he taught his child, the way he didn't yell, struck Evelyn directly. She remembered her own childhood filled with shouting and cold housekeepers. When Liam asked permission to leave, Lily turned back and hugged her. A small, clumsy hug, but enough to make Evelyn nearly lose her famous cold expression. Before stepping into the elevator, Liam said something that left Evelyn standing silent at the door. "Happy birthday. I hope you'll have more people remember this day, not just us." When the elevator doors closed, Evelyn saw herself in the mirror. Red eyes, trembling lips, clear signs of someone who had just received something she'd never had: sincerity. That night, Evelyn blew out the candle alone but no longer felt lonely. Before sleeping, her hand unconsciously touched the bouquet of wildflowers Lily had left behind, like an authentic human marker she had never received. She placed the flowers in water, watching them in the dim light. Such simple, imperfect beauty. Nothing like the professionally arranged bouquets that arrived at her office from business associates who didn't actually care about her. These wildflowers were picked by a child, given freely, without expectation, without agenda. Evelyn touched one petal gently. When was the last time someone had given her something that wasn't calculated? That wasn't part of a business transaction or social obligation? She couldn't remember. The penthouse felt different somehow, less like a showroom and more like a space where something real had happened. For the first time in years, Evelyn Hart went to bed feeling something other than accomplished or exhausted. She felt seen. The next morning, Evelyn arrived at the company with a completely different mood than usual. But before she could step into the conference room, her assistant rushed over and pulled her aside. "There's big trouble, ma'am." The board of directors had held an emergency meeting starting at 5 a.m. Internal documents had been leaked. Media outlets were publishing stories claiming she was committing financial fraud, exploiting employees, evading taxes, and ruthlessly cutting personnel. All false but timed perfectly to cause maximum damage. Evelyn was shocked to the point of trembling. She knew someone had orchestrated this entire thing, but who could act so quickly and cunningly? When she entered the conference room, she was bombarded with harsh questions. Faces that once flattered her now looked at her with cold eyes as if viewing a criminal. In the midst of chaos, Vice Chairman Marcus, who had competed with her for power, stood up and presented evidence consisting of forged emails and manipulated bank statements. Evelyn tried to refute, but no one let her finish speaking. Silenced, humiliated, as if everything had been staged beforehand. The humiliation peaked when Marcus read aloud, "We unanimously agree to suspend your position as CEO effective today." He even smiled victoriously. Evelyn was escorted out of the building by security. When she stepped outside, reporters' cameras pointed straight at her face. "Did you commit fraud? Do you have anything to say?" Evelyn felt like she was being pushed into a bottomless abyss, her entire world, everything she'd built, crumbling in hours. The press surrounded her like vultures, microphones thrust in her face, questions shouted over each other. Security guards who yesterday would have died for her now looked at her with disgust. At that exact moment, a child's voice rang out. "Miss Evelyn?" Lily and Liam stood under the awning across from the building, holding a container of hot food. "Awesome." Liam said gently, "I brought breakfast. Saw you hadn't arrived yet, so I guess something was wrong." Evelyn stood in the middle of the media storm and almost cried, seeing the only two people who didn't look at her with judgment. Liam gave her his old jacket to partially cover her face from reporters. A simple gesture, but full of protection. They led her away from the crowd. Evelyn sat down on a stone bench, eyes vacant. Liam asked quietly, "Do you know who did this?" Evelyn briefly explained about Marcus, about how she had discovered signs of him illegally transferring funds a few weeks earlier. He knew she was about to expose him, so he struck first. Liam was silent for a few seconds, then said something that surprised Evelyn most. "I believe you." Among hundreds of people throwing poison words, only one person believed. But the attacks weren't finished. Liam received an urgent call from Lily's school. "Mr. Carter, someone just used your name to withdraw your daughter's file. Someone is trying to interfere with your custody." Evelyn immediately stood up, her eyes cold and sharp. "It's Marcus. He wants to hit your weak point to force you into silence." Liam looked at Evelyn in shock. "How do you know?" Evelyn sighed, "Because he's done this to many people." They both ran to Lily's school and found a man impersonating a county official trying to take Lily away. Liam lunged to stop him, while Evelyn protected Lily behind her with her own body. This perfect coordination stunned the teacher, a CEO spreading her arms to shield a poor child. No one could believe their eyes. Marcus realized the plan had failed and immediately released more false information to destroy Liam's reputation. Single dad suspected of child abuse. Evelyn was so furious that for the first time in her life, she slammed the table and shouted, "I'll make him pay." But fighting back required evidence. Liam, with the meticulousness of a manual laborer, remembered every detail in the cleaning department, the areas Marcus frequently visited to do private work, who came and went when. Evelyn looked at Liam as if seeing him clearly for the first time. He wasn't just kind, not just good. He was intelligent, observant, and loyal to a chilling degree. They decided to work together to investigate Marcus. Evelyn asked to temporarily stay at Liam's house to avoid being followed. When she set foot in his small apartment, warm, full of toys, full of the smell of baked goods, she nearly choked up. The contrast was stark. Her penthouse had cost $12 million. His apartment probably cost less than her monthly clothing budget, but his home felt alive in ways hers never had. Lily gave Evelyn a drawing. Don't be sad anymore. This is your temporary family. Evelyn couldn't hold back and hugged the child, tears wetting Lily's hair. That night, after Liam tucked his daughter into bed and turned to see Evelyn curled up in the corner of the room, he gently placed his hand on her shoulder and said, "You're not alone." Those words, small but enough to shake the life of someone accustomed to living in luxurious but lonely silence. Evelyn looked up at him. "Why are you helping me? You barely know me. I could be everything they say I am." "You're not," Liam said simply. "I've met people like Marcus, people who smile while they stab you. You're not like that." "How can you be so sure?" "Because my daughter is an excellent judge of character, and she picked you." Evelyn laughed through tears. "She picked wildflowers for me." "Exactly. And Lily only picks flowers for people she thinks deserve them." Over the following days, Liam and Evelyn secretly investigated. They discovered Marcus had used Evelyn's name to sign many illegal documents while hiring hackers to erase traces. Evelyn remembered an important detail. Marcus's office had an old-style safe that could only be opened with a physical key. If they could get that key, they could access original documents. Liam wasn't a hacker, but he had the skills of a janitor. He knew how to observe every hidden corner of the building, places cameras didn't reach. The first double twist came when Evelyn learned that Liam had been a skilled locksmith 7 years ago, but quit the profession after his wife died in an accident and he had to raise his child alone. Evelyn was surprised by this information. She realized he wasn't as simple as he appeared on the surface. They decided to break into Marcus's office at night. Evelyn would lead the way. Liam would handle locks and security doors. When they opened the safe, they found numerous documents proving Marcus had embezzled funds and framed Evelyn. There was even a media strategy document Marcus had drafted to bring her down. But the second twist occurred when Marcus appeared right behind them. He turned on the lights, clapping mockingly. "I knew you'd do this, but I didn't expect you to bring trash with you." He looked at Liam with disgust. Evelyn immediately stepped in front of Liam to shield him. Marcus called security. Men rushed in to arrest Liam on charges of illegal trespassing. Evelyn shouted, "He didn't do anything wrong. This was all me." But no one listened. The retention spike hit when Liam was being restrained and Lily suddenly ran in, worried about her father. The terrified child screamed, "Daddy, don't go!" That scene made many security guards hesitate. Marcus, furious, grabbed his access card and swiped it on the screen, preparing an arrest order. But Evelyn wasn't finished. She pulled out her phone, which had been recording the entire conversation. Every word Marcus had said, every admission of guilt spoken in his arrogance. "You think I came here unprepared?" Evelyn's voice was steel. "You're not the only one who knows how to play dirty." Marcus's confident expression cracked. "That recording is inadmissible. You're on private property without authorization." "Actually," a voice came from the doorway, "she has a full authorization." Margaret Hart stepped into the room, flanked by the company's head of legal and 2 federal investigators. "I've been tracking your activities for 6 months, Marcus," Margaret said coldly. "Every bribe, every forged signature, every threat you made to employees who questioned you. My daughter may have been blind to your treachery, but I wasn't." Marcus stumbled backward. "This is a setup. You can't." "We can," one of the federal investigators said, stepping forward with handcuffs. "Marcus Thornton, you're under arrest for embezzlement, fraud, conspiracy, and a dozen other charges we'll discuss downtown." As Marcus was read his rights, Evelyn felt Liam's hand gently touch her shoulder, a silent gesture of support that meant more than any words. Lily ran to her father, wrapping her arms around his waist. "Daddy, you're okay." "I'm okay, sweetheart. We all are." The security guards who had been ready to arrest Liam now stood awkwardly, realizing they had almost participated in a criminal conspiracy. Several apologized directly to him. Evelyn addressed them calmly. "You were following orders, but let this be a lesson. Authority without ethics is just tyranny. Next time, question the orders that don't feel right." The guards nodded, properly chastened. Suddenly, Evelyn grabbed his hand, slammed the documents on the table and shouted, "I have all the evidence. He's innocent. You're the one who will pay." Marcus laughed. "Who will believe you? You've been suspended." An older woman's voice rang out. "I will believe her." Evelyn's mother, Margaret Hart, appeared with a team of lawyers behind her. She had reviewed all surveillance cameras, including footage of Marcus receiving bribes. The security guards immediately retreated. Marcus's face went pale. He tried to run, but was blocked. Evelyn looked at Liam with grateful eyes. "We did it." The entire company lobby fell silent when Margaret announced, "Effective immediately, Marcus is suspended from all positions, and we will forward his files to investigative agencies." Marcus was handcuffed and led away in humiliating silence. As he was being taken out, he turned and shouted, "All this for some poor janitor?" Evelyn walked up and said clearly, "Liam isn't poor. He's richer in kindness than anyone in this building." Employee applause rang out, not because Evelyn was CEO, but because she had just brought down an evil person and protected a single father. Evelyn was reinstated that same day, but the most important moment wasn't when the decision was signed. It was when she turned to Liam and said, "You didn't just save my career, you saved me from the cold life I built." Liam looked down at Lily, then at Evelyn, his eyes softening. "You saved yourself. I just stood beside you." Evelyn smiled for the first time, a real smile. The investigation that followed revealed the full scope of Marcus's crimes. He had been embezzling for 3 years, over $15 million diverted to offshore accounts, fabricated contracts with shell companies, bribed auditors who looked the other way, a network of corruption that extended beyond just Evelyn's company into several other corporations where Marcus had board positions. Federal investigators discovered he'd been planning to force Evelyn out for over a year, carefully laying groundwork. The birthday timing wasn't coincidental. He knew she'd be emotionally vulnerable, isolated. He'd counted on her having no support system. What he hadn't counted on was Liam and Lily. "It's almost poetic," Detective Barnes told Evelyn during one of the debriefing sessions. "The thing he used to attack you, your loneliness, was exactly what saved you. Because you were alone, you were open to kindness from unexpected sources." "I never looked at it that way," Evelyn admitted. "Marcus surrounded himself with people who wanted something from him, and you accidentally found someone who wanted nothing except to be decent. That's why you won and he lost." The legal proceedings took months. During that time, the media had a field day with the story, not just the corporate fraud angle, but the human interest story. Billionaire saved by janitor. Lonely CEO finds family. The girl with wildflowers who changed everything. Liam hated the attention. He declined every interview request, every book deal, every attempt to make him into some kind of hero. "I'm not a hero," he told Evelyn one evening. "I just did what anyone should do." "But most people don't," Evelyn replied. "That's what makes it heroic." The company transformation was real and deep. Evelyn restructured from the ground up, created an ethics committee with real power, implemented anonymous reporting systems for misconduct, increased wages for support staff, offered childcare benefits for single parents. Employees who had watched the scandal unfold with cynicism began to believe change was possible, not because Evelyn gave inspiring speeches, but because she listened. She ate in the cafeteria instead of ordering private meals. She learned names. She asked about families. The corporate culture, once cutthroat and cold, slowly warmed. But for Evelyn, the victory felt hollow without acknowledging who had made it possible. At the press conference announcing her reinstatement, she did something unprecedented. She invited Liam and Lily to stand beside her on stage. "This man," she said to the cameras, "risked everything to help me prove the truth. He had nothing to gain, everything to lose, and he did it anyway because he believed in doing what was right." The media went wild. Photos of the three of them, the billionaire CEO, the janitor, and the little girl, spread across every news outlet. Unlikely heroes, the headlines read. From birthday flowers to corporate justice. Liam was mortified by the attention, but Lily loved it, waving at cameras like she was born for this. Media began republishing stories, this time about how CEO Evelyn Hart had been betrayed by a colleague and the truth that a single dad had helped overturn the case. The public unexpectedly loved Liam. They called him the janitor knight. Evelyn laughed when reading comments. They've knighted you. Liam blushed. And they've made you a hero. Hart Global changed its culture from top to bottom. Evelyn reorganized all employee benefits. For the first time, she truly listened to working-class employees. Lily became the little star of the office. Employees gave her toys, stickers, cookies every time she visited. Lily drew a picture of her new family and posted it on the company bulletin board. Emotional recovery began. Evelyn gradually learned to exist in a home that wasn't too large. Liam's small apartment, where Lily ran around, where the smell of warm food filled the air, where there were no empty echoes of a luxurious but cold penthouse. Evelyn started telling Liam about her past, about birthdays alone, about the pressure of inheritance, about parents always away on business trips. Liam didn't interrupt, just listened with a very calm heart. One evening, Lily asked, "Miss Evelyn, do you have a family?" Evelyn was silent for a long time, then said, "I'm learning how to have a family." Liam looked at her, his eyes understanding everything. The rebirth metaphor emerged when Lily gave Evelyn a small potted plant, so you can take care of it like you'll take care of family later. Evelyn held the plant like a treasure. The story reached a gentle peak when Lily asked in front of both, "Do you two love each other?" Liam nearly choked. Evelyn's face turned bright red, but instead of denying it, she bowed her head and smiled. "Let's let time answer that." All three laughed. The atmosphere felt light as spring. The company community helped Evelyn restore her strong image. Instead of standing alone on the 42nd floor looking at the city, she came down to the ground floor to eat with employees and Liam's family. Evelyn decided to establish a fund supporting single-parent families, inspired by Liam himself. Employees noticed the change in their CEO. She smiled more, remembered names, asked about children and elderly parents. The Ice Queen had melted, and underneath was someone warm and real. One afternoon, an elderly janitor approached Evelyn in the hallway. "Ma'am, I just wanted to say thank you." "For what?" "For seeing us. For the first time in 30 years here, the CEO knows my name. That matters more than you know." And Evelyn's eyes filled with tears. "What's your name?" "Robert, ma'am." "Robert, thank you for keeping this building beautiful all these years. I should have said that a long time ago." The old man walked away, wiping his eyes. Liam, who had witnessed the exchange, smiled. "You're different now. I'm becoming who I should have been all along." 1 month later, when everything had stabilized, Evelyn was invited to speak at a major city event. But what made her nervous wasn't the speech. It was that she wanted to invite Liam and Lily to come with her. She stood in front of the small apartment where Liam and Lily were preparing dinner. Looking at the scene of father and daughter cooking together, laughter ringing out, the table set with simple dishes, Evelyn felt something she'd never experienced in her life. She belonged here. She walked in, sat down. Lily immediately ran over and hugged her. "Eat with us." Evelyn nodded, her lips curving into a gentle smile. After dinner, Liam looked at her for a long time, then asked, "Evelyn, if you want to go back to the penthouse, I'll take you." Evelyn shook her head. "I don't want to go back there anymore." Liam was slightly surprised. Evelyn took a deep breath, placing her hand over her heart. "I've lived in the most beautiful, most expensive places, but I've never felt seen, heard, loved." Lily sat between them, looking from one person to the other, then giggled. Evelyn continued, "Home isn't where you own things, it's where you choose to be. And I choose to be here." Liam went silent. He looked at Evelyn with eyes full of trust, tenderness, and gratitude. He said only one sentence, "Welcome home." When Evelyn laughed, tears of happiness rolling down her cheeks. The potted plant Lily had given sat in the middle of the table. New leaves had just sprouted. a perfect symbol of rebirth. In this small, simple place, Evelyn Hart had finally found what her entire wealthy world had never given her, a family. And that was the greatest legacy she wanted to keep. Not glass towers, not CEO titles, not billions in assets, but a small dining table, a single dad, and a child who always drew wildflowers for her. She kept these words in her heart. I'll stay because I want to stay. 6 months later, Evelyn officially adopted Lily. Not to replace her mother, but to be the person who loved her unconditionally. Liam and Evelyn, they took it slow, no rush, just two people learning to trust again, to love again, to believe that good things could last. The Penham house on the 42nd floor remained empty. Evelyn never went back. Eventually, she converted it into a crisis shelter for families in need, a place where people could stay when they had nowhere else to go. The first family to use it was a single mother with 2 children. Evelyn greeted them herself, carrying the same wildflowers Lily had once given her. Welcome, she said simply. You're safe here. The cycle of kindness continued. Loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about not being seen. Sometimes all it takes is one person, one moment, one bouquet of wildflowers to remind us we matter. If you believe healing stories like this deserve to be told, leave a comment and subscribe to Strong Dad Stories. We tell the stories that shouldn't be forgotten.